Okay, hi, sorry about that. I will try to watch the timer next time to make sure I can kind of conclude it before it moves on. But I do want you to bring a hard copy of the Literacy Action Plan to class when we meet again on Monday. But this section is going to be due by Monday, so I want to kind of show you this so you can start working on it now. Section D under Part 2, let's see, under Part 1, Section D, number 13. This is something that you can start doing now, and I'd like for you to bring a rough draft of this section completed with you the next time we meet in person. I want you to check out a national organization in your content area. So this is like National Council for Teachers of English, National Council for Teachers of Math, Science. So if you teach a specific content area, go for that. Look for some professional organizations. If you do not teach in a content area, then choose a content area that you feel like would be a good one for you to explore. And I want you to join a national organization. Now, some of these do have subscription or membership costs. They can range, so don't join one for $250 that you don't really feel like you're going to benefit from. Maybe join one that's $45. And there's also some that you don't have to pay for at all on our syllabus. Let me see if it's listed up here. Somewhere on our syllabus. Let's see, not there. There's a professional organization that you can join that's listed that does not charge a fee. So if that's one that you end up wanting to join, that's fine too. And I'll make note of that on our Blackboard. So what you're going to do is you're going to look through the organization's page and you're going to just go through what this syllabus says and do these various things. So that's something you can do now before we meet in person and knock that part of your LAP out of the way. So get started right away on that. This section 2 of your LAP I'm going to allow you guys to do in groups if you'd like. Like I said earlier, it will not be your young adult literature group because there's 5 people. And this really would only use 4. So I'm going to ask that you guys work in groups on this. I guess if you would want to do it in 5, you could break it up in a way that all 5 of you had equal responsibility, but I am not going to monitor your partner's workload. So if at the end of all of it you come back and you say, this person didn't really give anything to our group assignment, I'm not going to monitor that. I'm not going to change somebody's grade or whatever. So just know that going into it. You're responsible for your group and your group's work, and if your group doesn't work, sorry, because this is something that you can choose to do on your own. So just up to you. Student data analysis, that's going to be on our Blackboard, and we'll talk about this section. And then lesson plans. You'll create 4 lesson plans. And so if you wanted to work with a group of 4 and each of you create 1 lesson plan, that's completely fine with me. This part is going to be due after our next hybrid, so we have a little bit more time to talk about it, but I scheduled it to be due after the next hybrid week because it's something that if you guys wanted to meet during class time, since we're going to be doing an online class, you could meet during class and work on that. So anyways, this is a very lengthy document, but I do want you to print it out, take notes, bring your questions ready to go to our first class meeting. Okay, then we have the essentials list. So if you want to get an A in this course, one thing that Northern asks that you do is that you get a textbook of some other area and you write an essentials list. Basically, you're going through and you're highlighting the key points of each chapter and you're just going to give an outline of that book. So I'm going to ask that you do an essentials list for an A, or let me go back down here and see. Another thing that I'm willing to substitute here is if you want to do an essentials list for our textbook that we're using now, and you want to give an outline of each chapter as you're reading it. So if you want to give an essentials list while you're reading our textbook, meaning give some detailed information and some bullet point information as you read each chapter, you're welcome to do that. Or you can go and purchase another textbook, like a math textbook, and you can do an essentials list for that textbook. So up to you there. And then professional dispositions just means that you need to come to class and act in a professional way. And I would expect each of you to do that since you are career people and not undergrads, that hopefully that you are very good at the professional dispositions. So here's our grading scale. Let me pull this back up. It is not awarded by points like I had mentioned earlier. You're going to complete the tasks to earn the credit. They have to be high quality to count, and you have to receive met expectation on all aspects of the LAP. If you have revisions the final day of your LAP, you cannot get an A. So if you got an A on your list, then you would be bumped down to a B. So in this class, you choose your grade, which is really difficult in our 8 weeks because it's going to be a very quick 8 weeks and seem almost virtually impossible to get an A. It's doable. You have to make sacrifices, and you're going to have to work hard, but it's definitely something that you can do. And to help you focus on the assignments and study your grade is the reason that this grading scale was made. Sometimes people are all focused on getting a 30 out of 30 if it's worth 30 points instead of just doing the assignment like it needs to be done. So that's why this has been created. This is something that's created from the professor who built this course, and so I think it's a very interesting grading scale, and I've kind of looked at it several times to figure out if it's something that I would like to do or not, but I think in this course it's the perfect way to kind of I don't know how you would say scale the grading. So for a C, to pass the course, you need to complete all sections of the LAP. You need to do a demo lesson, your young adult roles in a C project, and that's on Blackboard, and I can explain that later another time if you have questions. 8 daily checks. If you've attended all but 2 classes, and you have very little professional dispositions. For B, you do 3 researcher roles, 9 to 10 daily checks. All but 3 daily checks were on time, 1 young adult annotation. Young adult roles for a B project or 2 C projects, and minor professional dispositions. And for an A, as you can see, it's 11 to 12 daily checks. All but 1 daily checks were on time. Essentials list completed. Young adult roles, few if any disposition issues, and all work is completed by July the 3rd. So this is what will determine your grade at the end of the semester. I will put a date completed next to each one of these as you complete these items, and then at the end I'll just see which one fits best for you, and that's how your grade will be determined. Yep, sorry. Okay, so we already kind of discussed that. If there's revisions to the LAP, your grade will be lowered. Now, throughout the semester, you have different sections of LAP that I'm asking for you to bring in, and you will work with your group to kind of help edit each other's LAPs before you hand it in to me, and then I will give you feedback on those sections and hand them back to you before the final LAP is due. So hopefully through the process and through the semester, you will get feedback on the LAP so that you don't feel like you're turning in your first draft at the final. Now, if you have late work, you can make it up. If you turn an assignment late or you have absences, you can make those by completing a journal annotation. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to EBSCOhost or Eric, and I'm going to embed a librarian into our Blackboard so that if you have questions, you can ask her or him. But I think last semester it was the ladies, so she will be available to help. But you'll go and pick a journal article, and you'll annotate that journal article, and there's examples on Blackboard as well for that. It's your responsibility to keep track of your absences and your tardies, and if you already know that you're going to be going out of town at all this summer, 2 absences is the maximum for this course. So you need to meet with me and discuss what can you do to make up those absences. Otherwise, if you miss those 2, that's it. If you ever missed any more, you were tardy anymore, then that would not allow for a completion of this course. So I can work with you on some assignments or some things to do for those courses that you'll be out if you work with me ahead of time on that. So just know that. You need to be here for each class. I want you to contact me about your absences. If you know ahead of time, please send me an email. If you know that morning, it doesn't matter. To me, it's just much more respectful to get an alert that says, hey, I'm not feeling well, I'm not going to make it, than to just not show up at all and not give any explanation. Even if you don't want to give an explanation, just say, hey, something came up, I'm not going to make it to class tonight. That way I just know not to expect you, and it's respectful of our time as well to know that you're not going to be there. A tardy counts as coming late or leaving early, and you can only have 2 tardies before it counts as another absence, so be aware of that. Try to be there on time each class period. And I want you to you have to participate in this course. So it's a very interactive course. It is not a lecture course. I'm not going to stand up for hours and hours and lecture. I would like for you guys to be engaged with one another about what you've read, about the demo lessons, about your young adult literature circles, so all kinds of stuff. So just be prepared to participate. I know that it's at the end of a long day for you, especially on a Monday, to come from work and then come to class, but I will expect for you to participate. And you do need to have knowledge before coming to class. So, if one time you forget to read your textbook, that's a little bit excusable. But if every time you come, you're like, oh yeah, I didn't get a chance to read my chapter again today, that's not really fair to your group. And if that happens, and I get word that is happening, that will affect your grade. So make sure that you prepare before class each and every time. If you have any questions about the syllabus or about the assignments, I want you to communicate with me, email me, and ask a question. Now here's the deal. There's like a meme that has these 2 pictures, and you're like one type of person, this one or this one. Now I am a notification person. I cannot stand a little red circle on my app that says I have an email or I have a message or whatever. So I'm one of those people that will open it and read it and close it to close that little notification bubble. Then on that little meme, the other one's like, or you're like this, and they have 1,000 emails that they haven't read. I am not that kind of a person. So I often will read emails, and if it's an email that I need to wait and get down on a computer and send a longer response, then I typically won't respond back for a little bit. And there are times where I might forget to respond. So normally I will respond right back within a few hours. And I will use my phone to write that email. If it's something that I need to look up some information or write a longer email, and I'll try to wait till I get to a computer to do that, it'll most likely be in the evening that I do that. If I do not respond to you in 24 hours, feel free to shoot me an email and say, hey, did you get my message yesterday about whatever? And it will not bother me for you to remind me. Just give me at least a day to try to get back to you. Professionalism is just simple. Be professional. Treat others like you would want to be treated. And then in terms of electronic devices, I'm not a huge stickler. I want you guys to bring electronic devices. I want you to bring a laptop or an iPad or something like that. And I understand. I just completed my doctorate not too long ago, so I know what it's like to be in class and have a kid that's sick and your husband sending you a message or whatever. I am fine with that. So if you write a text message back to somebody, that's fine. But if you have a string of messages going back and forth with somebody, that's rude. So it's one thing to write back and say, hey, here's my answer, but I'm in class, so if you need anything else, I'll get to you during break or after class. So, respond back with the answer, but tell them you're in class and you're not going to talk anymore past the answer. I am fine with that, but if I see that you're on the phone all the time, it's going to bother me, and it's going to bother those that are around you. So please just be thoughtful about that. The quality of work, I know, is going to be hard because you guys are going to be doing this very quickly. That does not mean that it can be sloppy. So I need for you to make sure that you do a couple of very simple things before you turn it in. Make sure you spell check and grammar check. Make sure you reread what you're handing in. I need it to be good work because we don't really have a lot of time to go back and edit. So make your first draft a good draft that you're handing in. If you do get a lot of feedback on something, you can resubmit the work, but hopefully we won't need to do too much of that. This is just about the spirit of assignments, and what it's saying is all of these assignments and the rubrics are there to say, this is what we want for you to get from the assignment. But that doesn't mean that that is the only way we're going to grade. So there might be other things that we want to give feedback to you on your assignments, and they're not in the rubric. And so just know that we're going to grade, or I guess I'm going to grade your assignments for the way that I feel like they should be done. The rubric is there to help guide you, but there could be other things within your assignment that I'll give you feedback on that weren't on the rubric. Don't plagiarize. If you're not sure, cite it. So there's a lot of opportunities throughout the LAP that you're going to need to cite your information. And if it's something that you feel like is really close to what